Are you prepared for a big AlsoAshley injects you with positivity video? Because here we go. Hi everyone, it's AlsoAshley and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we're going to talk about one of the things that the internet fears most. Being trans. Ooh. I would say that this video is almost a spiritual sequel to my Reddit turned me into a woman, ... And that's because I got the idea for this video from the comment section of that video. That is actually the thing that I want to address first, which is thank you all so much for watching that video, reaching out to me afterwards, the comments, the DMs. There was a lot of positive energy and interactions that spawned from that YouTube video. So it just means a lot that it meant so much to all of you. There were some comments that deeply affected me emotionally in a good way. So if you haven't checked that out yet, check it out here. I don't know if YouTube still does this. It's in the description. Just go to the description. I'll link it at the end of the video. But yeah, the comment section of that video spurred something within me that I've been thinking about for a couple years now. And I felt that my audience would like to hear. So if you're new to my content, hello, I'm AlsoAshley. And if you're not new, I still think you should hear this. One of the key reactions I got from that video were trans and fluid and queer folks reaching out to me to basically say, thank you for making this. This is one of the first times I've felt seen. I think that's incredible, and it makes me really happy that you took that video in that direction. But another part of me started to realize these feelings that have been cultivating as I've existed online for 15 years. And that is that there isn't a lot of space for actually discussing transness, fluidness. As I'd mentioned in the video, I grew up not having a lot of access to actual discussion and examples of trans and fluid folks. I just didn't. Often they were depicted in media as villains or bizarre or evil. And in the small town in which I grew up, anyone who was queer, trans, even thinking along those lines, something was wrong with them. That was the way that it was put. Something was wrong with your brain. I don't know about a lot of you, but I feel like that attitude really helps you not explore or discover or discuss that part of yourself. It's a really great way to dampen those feelings and collectively add a ton of shame to yourself. Getting all fired up. So, the very first thing I want to say when it comes to this video, and to you who is watching this, whether you're trans, queer, fluid, or straight and trying to learn more, you are welcome here. You are welcome to discuss, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. And I am personally saying that because, for me, I wasn't told this was actually okay until way too late in my life. And if anyone had told me that earlier, I think I'd be in a very different place. I'm really happy with where I'm at. It makes me excited. I love all of you. I love doing what I do. And I would not describe my feelings looking back as regret. In fact, I think it's good to look back on your past self and thank them for where you are now. They may have been in a different headspace. They may have thought bras were something to take off of someone and not put on. And they may have been very confused and scared and worried, or even full of shame and angry about it. But I say to you, don't be mad at that version of yourself. You're only here now because of that past version of yourself, whether that was 30 years ago, 2 years ago, or 5 minutes ago before you started typing into YouTube and decided to click on this video. So, yes, you are valid in whatever form that takes and whatever discoveries you make along the way. That being said, let's get into the meat and potatoes of what I kind of want to discuss and what's been irking me and driving a little nail into the overall community of transness, online in general, but mostly in what I would say is a trans celebrity space. But obviously a lot of this discussion is going to be around trans influencer spaces, which is where I exist, But it's also where a lot of you exist. I'm sure you only know me because you follow me in that capacity. So let's talk about it. Let's say you decide to go public about the fact that you love the color blue. And there just so happens to be a small little community of folks that you've known forever who also like the color blue. You've known that they're out there, this club, this group. So the moment you decide, this is me, and you join that little club and community, you may realize when you join it that it turns out that whole group of really lovely people who enjoy the color blue, they all have varying shades of the color blue that they all enjoy and embrace. And for some of you who may have experienced this with the color blue, your particular love and appreciation of a certain color of blue may not be what others think is correct. You know what? F the metaphor. I'm talking about the queer community in general, or LGBTQ+, or as many folks just refer to it, the community. I think there's a common misconception that when you come out, or not come out, in fact, you think you're going to automatically find people that are like-minded, enjoy your presence, and agree with you on a lot of different aspects of life. But the truth of the matter is, every community is made up of people. And people are very different from one another. There's a very good chance that depending on when you join the community and in what area and in what country, you're going to have a very different experience. This varies from town to town. You're going to find a wide variety of humans interacting in different ways with different beliefs within that community. Now, the other thing about human beings is that they're conflicted folks. They all have strong opinions, and when things don't mesh correctly, sometimes you get this. Oh, not that. Fighting, conflict. And if you just so happen to be new to the color blue, to the community, that might be a bit overwhelming for you, especially when the danger and fear of coming out and being who you are has already been a very big step for you. The moment you join a community and become vulnerable in that way, and suddenly are faced with conflict and even contradictions, and sometimes anger, there may be a chance that part of you may question why you're doing this, why you're there, and actually wonder if the parts of you that enjoy the color blue are correct or not. I'm going to reiterate for you one more time. Yes, they are. You are valid, your journey is valid, and your varying way of discovering yourself is valid. Now, this is the part of the video where I might stir up some controversy, and I hope you're prepared for it. It's such a tough, awful opinion. Online, especially in trans spaces, trans influencer spaces, there is a very large feeling of superiority when it comes to the path you took, and that can take many different forms. Some folks feel like if you don't struggle through the early part of your life to get where you are, you're not a valid trans person. They feel like if you don't start early enough, you're not a valid trans person. They consider if you're not public, maybe you're not a valid trans person. If you're not out to everyone you know, you're not a valid trans person. If you're not presenting femme or vice versa masculine at all times, you're not a valid trans person. All that random stuff I just listed. You may have noticed a lot of the things on that list vary from person to person. And usually, the way those strong opinions manifest in I'm valid and you're not come about from the fact that personal experience drives most of those, which basically means this was my journey. If it wasn't your journey, not valid. Now, I find that incredibly frustrating. First off, everyone's journey is different. Everyone's perspective is different. Every second of every day is different from another human being's, and you will never understand somebody else's perspective. So to assume that if you don't hit certain checklists that don't fit within the box of your personal experience, well, then you aren't valid, is so wrong to me. And gosh, I felt so strongly about this, I had to make a whole video about it. The truth is, I'm sick of seeing that. And I would rather that as a community, we group together and we actually enjoy those differences within that. Because no two people are ever going to have the same experiences regardless, right? And you don't know what's going on inside the head of another human being. It's just the truth. And there's a risk to being a part of the community and trusting in someone who comes forward and says who they are and what they want to be and how they want to discover that. You, in fact, are giving up some of your own vulnerability to just trust that that person in front of you is valid in those thoughts and beliefs that they hold. And to me, that's beautiful. I think that's a really positive part of the community that I've enjoyed. Sharing in experiences, understanding that yours is not somebody else's, and trying to find all those different angles and realize that just we'll be better off as a community by listening to one another. I'm saying these things like they're profound, but the truth is they're not. I think we just kind of need to be reminded of that. Do you know how many people reach out to me and tell me they live in a right-leaning part of the country and they don't feel secure or safe enough to come forward and live their true selves? Is that person any less valid as a trans woman because they can't be who they wish they could be? No, they're valid. Also, I can't believe that I will often see, if you're not on HRT, you're not trans. If you haven't changed your name, you're not trans. I've seen folks be like, you're actually doing harm to our community. The truth is, what is that founded on? Your decision? Your personal experience? I don't know, it's just, that is frustrating and annoying. It fits the exact same mentality of what I talked about at the beginning and had those same folks telling me something was wrong with me. It took me so much longer to accept the part of myself that needed to become who I am now. And the way our world exists currently, especially within the United States, I don't think it's a bad thing for anyone to put safety over anything else, especially when it comes to queer existence right now. So I don't know why we're all beating each other up, when instead we should all try to listen to one another and collaborate and understand. Inclusion in general is just a wonderful thing. Listen to one another, talk to one another. I suppose a large part of what I'm seeing basically boils down to, I suffered, I struggled, it was tough for me, but oh, it's so easy for you. And that mentality is just not healthy, not only for yourself, but for the folks who are trying to discover themselves. Give everyone time to find that. Don't try to stop the person who isn't there yet from finding that path, okay? Everyone, chill the out and listen to each other, please. Do I swear too much? Do I swear too much for YouTube? I beep it out. Is it funnier if I beep it? Or is it funnier if I just say it? I'm gonna beep it. Beeping it sounds funny to me. Look, obviously this is something I feel very passionate about. I wouldn't have been swearing so much. I think the other aspect of this is less of a video for those folks who are doing that negative stuff, and more for my fan base, which I really saw pop up from that last video. I just figured that some of you needed to hear this from someone, because it would have helped me. That kind of attitude, that kind of invalidation, is kind of what has caused a younger generation of trans women to solely exist online, feel like they're not valid enough to go outside, to be public facing. The amount of younger trans influencers who I see only exist in their bedroom with lights like this is getting way too damn high. And we all need to work on finding a world in which we don't have to live by that standard. And one of the ways to do that is to stop invalidating each other, including what I just said. I just made a giant generalization about the younger generation right now, right there. And the truth is, I don't know their situation entirely, but I would love to find a world in which existing in public doesn't have to be a hard thing. I still don't experience that. I know that a large part of my fan base follows me because they like seeing me just exist in the world, exist when I'm out there. I don't get away with it all the time. I still exist in a level of fear at all times when I'm public facing. That doesn't stop me. I want to be me, you know? I want you to be you. I'm going to ask a question. What are non-trans folks so scared of when it comes to us? What's so scary about me? changing the norm, disruption of their own sexuality, making them question their preferences. I don't like to think I'm very scary. I think the scariest part of me is honestly that I can do a spot-on Smeagol/Gollum impression. Outside of that, I've never understood the confusion or frustration or anger that builds around trans people existing. You know, gender is a societal construction. We live in a society that creates genders. And it's so fascinating to see how terrified folks are of that being broken and jostled around and shifted and moved about. And the last thing we all should be doing is making that ebb and flow of our own creation as humans less interesting by putting it into boxes that we all have to follow. Let humans be humans. Let them explore and play, take back things, discover they may not be what they thought they were, but not blame everyone else for that, you know? Be allowed to play and explore and enjoy that, not only for yourself, but the folks around you. All of this is really not that hard to give to somebody else. Hard. I said I wasn't going to make jokes, but sometimes I say things and my brain can't take me seriously, so. Also, look, I know this video could be summed up as me basically being like, can't we all get along? But the truth is, can't we all get along? The woman next to you who hasn't started HRT isn't your enemy. They're just trying to find themselves. Give them a little leeway, please. I still don't think I'm trans enough. That's how deep this goes. I've been invalidated not only by a certain sector of my country, but invalidated within the community itself. I know that if folks knew about my entire life, not just the one I'm presenting to you, I would get a lot of criticism for how I grew up, how I became who I am. A lot of, you're not valid enough for existing in this space. Let's not try to suffer together. Let's support and push through. I think there's just a general misconception of the queer community, a queer person, a trans person, in all regards. If you don't fit a certain stereotype or a certain checklist, then you aren't that thing. That's just not how it works. So, let's sum all this up. Negativity? No, kidding. Let's sum all this up. You're valid in whatever journey you take. Let's support each other in that. And honestly, I'm just really hoping that this video made you feel more seen. Sometimes you just need to hear it from somebody. You know? If you can, comment below on your own journey what you've discovered. Have you encountered these kinds of feelings online before, or in the real world? Talk about it with me and with everybody else. But I just want you to know, wherever your story is right now, I believe in you completing it. And I want you to. So that's it. I love y'all. Be hot. Resist fascism. Look, if I don't do it, all I'm gonna see for the next couple videos in the comments is where's the impression. So I'm gonna do it, okay? I don't know why I mentioned it. I thought it'd be funny to mention it and then just drag it out and never do it, but I'm just gonna fucking do it, okay?
Smeagol. Smeagol. Why does he cry, Smeagol? Queerman hurts us. Master tricked us. I told you he was tricksy. I told you he was false. Gollum. Gollum.
So the last time I did something like this, somebody said that I was just like splicing stuff together, so I figured I'd do a little bit more so I can prove it. So I'll make very specifically catered to me scenes.
You're not trans enough for the community. We hate the community when they get mad at us. And I'm not even going to be able
to look back at this video and not have regrets. The same regrets I was talking about earlier. I'm having those now. I am having regrets about this version of myself deciding to do this.